and welcome to 3Q, where I interview industry professionals for just 15 minutes by asking three powerful questions. I'm your host, Rachel Vogel, and joining me on tonight's episode is Jamie Dee Hart, the founder and CEO of Heart Songs. Jamie is a music rights management advocate who's passionate about giving back and educating creators at all levels of their career. She's the founder and CEO of Heart Songs, an artist and rights management firm, ensuring independent artists, producers, and songwriters properly register songs and effectively collect their royalties. The company also has extensive experience managing metadata and handling relations with companies such as Songtrust, Centric Music, BMI, ASCAP, Sound Exchange, and plenty of others. So, Jamie, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Excited to have you on. All right, let's dive into question number one. Imagine for a second you are sitting down with your 25-year-old self. What one piece of advice would you give her on a personal note? And what one piece of advice would you give her from a business perspective?
Oh, 25, good year for personal advice. You will lose friends, and that's normal. And friend breakups are inevitable, but you will also learn how to be a good friend, and we'll learn lessons from that. And then on a professional level, honestly, just believe in yourself. Believe that what you have to say is important and, your purpose on this earth is to help, artists and creatives and do it. Like, don't be afraid. Don't think that you can't hold space because you can.
Yeah, totally. Do you feel like that just kind of comes with time?
I do think that. I think that it does come with time and enough people around you in your community to kind of lift you up and bring you into that space where you're like, oh no, you're right. Like I really have great things to do in this industry and I'm passionate. It just takes some time. I think when we're straight out of college, we wanna hurry up to the success. We want to get right into it. We want to have that amazing job. We want to be known for our talent in the industry, and it'll come with time.
Do you have any advice for people that are kind of at the age of 25, maybe looking for where they fit in the industry, can't seem to really figure it out?
Yeah, I actually talk to a lot of like college students, recent grads, and let them know that you may have a lot of interests, but you also want to sit back and like see what you're actually really good at. Because everyone has their own like secret sauce, special talents, and go from there. Like combine what you really love and enjoy, and then also what you are just killer at. Because a lot of times people are like, I want to be an A&R and signed the biggest next pop star, which is so great. But maybe you have secret talents that make you perfect for like what I do, like helping people register their songs correctly and track down the money. Um, and I think that just also comes with time, figuring out what you are really good at so you can just be the top of your game in whatever part of the industry.
Yeah, that's great advice. Speaking of what you just mentioned, my next question for you is going to be, can you share a bit about what Heart and Songs provides and how it kind of came to be?
Yes, so Heart and Songs is a mixture of an artist management company. I manage two artists and a rights management and royalty auditing company. Now that sounds very fancy and like technical, but basically I work with creatives and their teams to ensure that their catalog is being correctly collected for and registered across all of the collection societies, because the whole system actually can be quite complicated and hard to keep track of if you don't have a team on board already who is an expert at these things. A lot of things get left to the side, especially for producers and songwriters who aren't the sole rights holder in the sense that they're the artist releasing the song. They still need to track down all of the royalties for that released song. So I work with, yeah, creatives directly and management companies and even some labels to manage their content.
That's great. And what kind of led you to wanting to create that? Because you didn't always do that, did you?
So I've had several like early days. I was in a lot of different administrative positions within music publishing and rights management. And through that, it inspired me because I just saw so many gaps and holes and conflicts in the back end of like collecting for songs at a foundational level. That kind of gave me the inspiration, like, this is a real problem. There are millions of songs out there. So basically, the pool of people I could possibly help kind of never ends. And that's how it, came to be. Just being able to touch different sides of the industry in this way, and then being like, oh, I should probably maybe do something where I can help a ton of people at like a larger scale, register their songs correctly.
That's great. Definitely important work. All right,
Yeah.
next question. Every industry has its dirty little secrets, and we all know that's no different in the music industry. Sometimes people think that's a bad thing, but that's not always the case. Sometimes they can be good. So, what's one secret you would like to share with our listeners about the industry?
I think you should really value the network that you have and that you're building, and do not be afraid to ask questions. So, let's say your friend is expert in like scheduling and planning a tour, for example. And this is something that I recently just experienced as the first time as an artist manager. I had never routed and like helped my artist plan for a tour. You better believe that I asked like a ton of my management friends that have done this for their artists, because there's nothing wrong with that. It's almost impossible to be an expert at every single facet of the industry. So don't be afraid to ask your community. I always love helping my friends with any questions they have. It's fun to me when they call me up and they're like, okay, so I have this really weird random question about music publishing. I'm like, yes, go. Like this is who I am. This is why I'm here.
That's great. No, I think that's so true. And especially when it comes to touring, like not many people know what goes into that. Are there any specific things about touring that you learned through the process?
Well, a lot of this is like good for the independent artists and like the starting out managers is like, if you're opening out on a tour, there's a good chance you're going to lose money. Like it's just a part of the business. Your fee to open up for a tour might not even cover the costs of paying your band, let alone the travel, the hotels. My little tip is that if your artist has like somewhat of a significant following, like on socials, hotels in like really local areas, boutique hotels will offer you free stays. So for Ryan Nealon's recent tour this summer, we got 3 nights free at different like local hotels, because we offered to, mention them in our vlog and on socials. It's like that's how you cut costs wherever you can to hopefully make it out on the positive side.
Interesting. That's a good little tidbit.
Yeah.
All right, last question. Throughout your career thus far, I can only imagine you've been asked plenty of questions, whether it was for an industry conference, the media, or even a promotion. But throughout all of those interviews and all of those questions, there has to be one that you've never been asked but would have liked to. So, what is that question and what would be your answer?
I think that a lot of people ask me everything around like how did you get into music? Um, but what would be cool, and I'll answer it now, is if someone could ask like, what emotional connection did you have with music? And like, what did it help you get through in life? I think that a lot of people in the industry have some kind of really deep emotional connection to music. And that's why we're doing it. We love it and we're passionate about it. Growing up, I was a musician, performed on the stage a lot. I was in a couple bands, recorded an EP, the whole thing. And like music provided me this like sanctuary when like life kind of had its ups and downs, whether it be like friends and family. Music was there. It was like my therapy. So yeah,
What kind of music did you grow up listening to?
I grew up listening to classic rock. So
Love
like
that.
classic rock and oldies music. What was always on rotation in our house in the car. My first my first concert I went with my dad was an Iron Maiden concert. Um, And like the minute the opener played its first note, we were in like the GA in the lawn in the back, and then just pits started happening around us. Like I was like so scared for my life, but it was very exciting. Um, but yeah.
That's a great way to just put you into it.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like, and here you go.
That's funny. All right, well, we've reached the end of the interview. Before we close it out, where can the people find you if they need your help?
Yes, all of my socials and my website, it's all just Jamie D. Hart. So connect with me on LinkedIn, on Instagram. I have a lot of educational and like helpful materials on my website. I have a Beyond the Classroom guide that shares all of the different organizations and, communities you can get connected to within the music industry.
Incredible. It's about time we close out tonight's episode. Jamie, thanks again for joining me. It's been a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Thank you.
To everyone listening, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Stay tuned for next week of 3Q, where I interview industry professionals for just 15 minutes by asking three powerful questions. See you next time.